now being made because of our investigation.
It was probably, even to this day, probably one of the most gut-wrenching things that I've ever dealt with in my entire life.
In 1989, the best day of Tyrone DeBose's life turned into the worst.
On my wedding day, 15 minutes after I was married, I got a phone call from my sister in Cincinnati who told me that my mother had been murdered.
His mother, Berlina Wright, a single mother of 4, was only 47. She was inside her home along Parchman Place in Avondale when a family friend, Tyrone White, came to rob her. He ended up killing her instead.
He beat my mother to death with a pipe. It was by far one of the things that was probably the hardest thing I've ever lived with in my life. And I dedicated my life at that moment of making sure that every time that this man came up for parole, I was there.
Despite moving out to California and becoming a music industry success, Tyrone kept his promise. Every time White was up for parole, he flew back home to fight his release 9 different times, one time hitchhiking just to get there. But in December of 2020, White was let out of prison after serving 24 years.
I do recall that a parole officer told me that they would keep me in touch with all of the things that were going on in his movement when he was released.
And did that happen?
It never happened, not one single time.
To make things worse, Tyrone found out the man who murdered his mother had been dead since 2022.
I looked right before our interview, and he is still on the website as someone they are monitoring. As of right now, they still do not know that he's died. And what do you think about that?
Although you're speaking with me, ma'am, I know for a fact that there's probably many more people in this regard.
Tyrone is right. Daniel Lee Stacy, who was locked up for multiple rapes and kidnappings, was released in 2021. The Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections website listed him as wanted, a violator at large. But we found his obituary page from a funeral home in Ellesmere, Kentucky. He died 5 months after being released, 2.5 years ago.
Now you become a victim twice. Not only are you a victim of the person who done it, you became a victim of the justice system who could care less about whether you get a justice that you deserve.
To help make sure Tyrone's story isn't repeated, I took this issue to the director of the Department of Rehabilitations and Corrections for Ohio. Annette Chambers-Smith has been in charge since 2019.
I can apologize to them, and I can also say that's absolutely not what we're trying to do.
Right now, a team of almost 600 parole officers monitor 24,000 people who are paroled across Ohio. About 10% of those are fugitives. Parole officers can't find them. And that's where Director Chambers-Smith says the breakdown often starts.
I think our fault is that we spent too much time worrying about what was statutorily required and not enough time worrying about just the cradle to grave experience, so to speak. And that's something we can improve, and we will.
Because of our story, the Department of Corrections is now making changes. Every month, they'll be notified of deaths across Ohio and cross-reference them with Ohio fugitives. They're also going to start working on one unified system statewide. And finally, it will be a requirement to notify victims and families of any major changes. Chambers-Smith knows it's an imperfect system, but she insists her team wants to get it right.
It's about keeping Ohio safer. We definitely care about meeting the needs of the survivors. That is a key to us and how we go about our whole process.
Tyrone hopes changes are made, but he's skeptical, and any justice for his mom is too late.
While I'm happy to know that at least right now they've decided to make some changes, what I need them to recognize is that it isn't the first time that you told me you were going to make a change and you didn't.
In April, Tyrone DeBose is going to be inducted into the Music Hall of Fame, where Casey Kasem is going to be inducted that same day as well. Tyrone says that he's going to have a picture of his mother in his pocket with him, and he only wishes she could be there to see it for herself.
So Tyrone now has closure, but in a way it's bittersweet.
It is. He said to me, this will be the last time I get to fight for my mother. This is it. Your name, her name will no longer really be out there anymore. So he's hoping it actually makes a difference.
Great story, really is.
Also tonight in other news for you, we do have some breaking news. A Hamilton County